Everyone thought this chapter was finally calm. A wedding, a fresh start, a sense that the noise was over, but instead of peace, everything around Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco started getting louder and stranger almost overnight. It didn't begin with a scandal, it began with a whisper. A blind item quietly dropped in late November, claiming an A-list music producer had been telling women he was in an open marriage. No names, no proof, just timing. And that timing was enough to set the internet on edge. Because Selena had only just gotten married, and fans still remember how her last very public relationship left scars that never really faded. For a lot of people, this wasn't gossip. It felt like a warning sign, a reflex. The same uneasy feeling that something familiar might be repeating itself. And before anyone could slow things down, the internet found something else to latch onto. A video started spreading of Benny Blanco lying in bed with two other men while Selena was out of town. Nothing explicit, no romance. Just laughing, joking, tickling. The kind of moment that probably would have stayed private in another era, but once it hit social media, context didn't matter anymore. It looked odd. It felt intimate in a way people weren't used to seeing. And online, perception beats explanation every time. Some brushed it off as harmless, others weren't convinced. Because when the internet is already suspicious, even innocent moments get reframed as evidence. And suddenly, the idea of open marriage didn't feel so hypothetical anymore, even though there was never any confirmation. Behind the scenes, insiders were quick to say Benny was fully committed. No hesitation, no wandering. And realistically, Selena Gomez is not someone you casually play around with. But once a narrative takes hold, facts become optional. And that's when an old name slipped back into the conversation. Justin Bieber started trending again. Not because he said anything directly, but because people thought he might have done something quietly. A rumor spread that he had sent Selena a wedding gift after she married Benny. Nothing confirmed, just another blind item. But the implication alone was enough to send timelines spiraling. To some, it sounded respectful. To others, wildly inappropriate. And to a lot of people, it felt symbolic, like a boundary that never fully closed. The timing didn't help. Justin posted photos from Costa Rica with a song playing that mentioned the wedding of the year, tears, and standing in the crowd. Fans immediately started connecting dots that may not have existed, but once lyrics and timing collide, explanations don't stand a chance. People also couldn't ignore how Justin has been appearing lately, spending time alone in a massive warehouse space, looking distant, drained, almost frozen in place. The visuals felt heavy, nostalgic in the wrong way, like someone stuck replaying an old chapter instead of living the current one. And the contrast made everything sharper, because while the internet dissected Justin's posts, Selena was doing the opposite. She was sharing moments that felt grounded, warm, forward-looking, referencing her past with affection, not longing. A Wizards of Waverly Place callback, a sense of closure rather than return. Then she opened up in a way that shifted the entire conversation. Selena spoke honestly about motherhood, about the reality that she can't safely carry her own children due to medical complications. She talked about grieving that truth, about having to let go of the version of life she once assumed would happen automatically. There was no self-pity, just clarity, acceptance, and gratitude that other paths exist through surrogacy or adoption. It reframed everything, not just her marriage, but her sense of peace. She also admitted something many people don't like to say out loud, that sometimes when good things finally happen, fear creeps in. That happiness feels fragile. That joy can trigger anxiety instead of relief. She shared how she cried after getting married. Not from regret, but from emotional overload. From the weight of finally arriving somewhere safe after years of turbulence. And a lot of people quietly recognized themselves in that moment. But just as the narrative seemed to soften, real-world fear cut through the noise. Reports surfaced that Benny Blanco's mother went through a terrifying break-in at her home. Several men forced their way inside through a glass door. She locked herself in the bathroom, listening as strangers moved through the house. At one point, she briefly opened the door and saw masked men upstairs before they fled. Nothing about that story felt online. Nothing felt speculative. It was raw, immediate, and unsettling. It shifted the tone. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about rumors or perception. It was about safety. About how chaos doesn't always stay confined to screens. And as if the internet wasn't done yet, an old photo of Selena resurfaced, one that had already been dissected years ago. People started zooming in on the background, claiming to see something questionable on a table. The timing made it worse, especially since Justin had just been seen at a high-profile birthday party, and another photo showed white powder on his pants. Speculation exploded. Accusations followed. But when people slowed down and actually examined the image, the explanation was painfully simple. The photo was from years ago. The lines were natural marble veining on a dark table. Lighting and angle had done the rest. Another reminder of how quickly the internet fills gaps with imagination. By this point, everything had piled on at once. The blind items, the viral video, the ex rumors, the emotional confessions, the break-in, the recycled photos. It felt like Selena and Benny couldn't catch a quiet moment, even when nothing new was actually happening. And that's what makes this situation interesting, because when you strip away the speculation, there's no confirmed scandal here. No exposed betrayal, no smoking gun. What you're really watching is unresolved history colliding with a new chapter, and the internet struggling to let go of the past. Some stories end cleanly, others echo. And the real question isn't whether any single rumor is true. It's whether people are reacting to facts or to the memory of how things once went wrong. So is all of this just online reaching, or proof that certain narratives never fully disappear, no matter how far someone moves forward? That answer depends on who you believe and what you